Hey, thanks for tuning into the Fanboy Cantina. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a Lego MOC that I put together based on Star Wars The Mandalorian. It's a nice day, so why don't we take it outside? The Mandalorian came out on November 2019 as the flagship show for the launch of Disney+. It's also the first live-action regular TV series based on the Star Wars franchise. Nevarro City is a prominent location in Season 1 of The Mandalorian, appearing in several episodes. And because it's so prominent, I wanted to create a Lego diorama based on this location. The Nevarro City Gate is one of the most distinct elements of Nevarro. If you saw an earlier video that I put together, I debated about the right color choice for the gate. In this version, it's a little wider and a little taller than when I had first created, using a mix of light and dark bluish gray pieces along with dark tan Lego bricks to convey the weathering. The city itself appears to be carved in the middle of a volcanic valley with lava rock on the tops of the city buildings. So that's represented by the low slope pieces on the rooftops. I tried an earlier version of this with black Lego bricks, but it was a little overwhelming. So let's move from the rooftops to this domed building. So another architectural structure that we see when the Mandalorian first arrives at Nevarro is this domed building to the left of the gate. And the entrance is at this slight angle, and further to the left there's this volcanic rock that I had mentioned. I really like how this one turned out. For me, it's close enough. And now we're going into Nevarro City. It's a bit tricky to determine how long is this part of the city before we get to the next gate. In many scenes, the distance doesn't seem that long. In episode 3, The Sin, however, it seems a lot larger. Curiously, in many of the shots of The Mandalorian, you see Nevarro City on this side, but not the other side. From studying the show, you can make out certain distinctive features like doorways and windows and other physical wall features. The windows are rounded. The doorway, in this case it's a little too large, but I wanted to have the rounded edges at the top and at the bottom of the doorway. In The Sin, in episode 3, the Mandalorian shoots up at the shooter on the rooftop, and so we can see these distinctive features coming out at the top of the wall. There's also a doorway and a canopy near that first gate that we saw, so that's captured, and you can distinctly see it in episode 7 when Mando, Cara, and Greef are walking into Nevarro City. In this part of Nevarro, there is a lot of activity, a lot of people, a lot of stuff. So the next step was to add some more details. I made these moisture vaporators, or at least that's what I think it is in the show. Maybe they're just antenna or other random things. I didn't want them to be too large given the size, and here I can just stick it right into the Nevarro City. For some reason this table was a big deal for me. It shows up several times during the show. It's like this fancy vendor table. And all this is, it's a simple set of pearl gold Lego pieces to represent the table, along with a few pieces on top to represent wares for sale. So now we're moving to the other side, and on this side there's a little more artistic license because we just don't see it as often in the series. From what we can see, it generally looks similar to the other side. There's doorways, there are windows with the rounded edges, we can see the pieces of things for the Jawas, and the same moisture evaporator antenna. I made these little containers with junk in it for the Jawas. Unfortunately, I don't have any Jawas yet, but I'm working on that. And here we can also see a couple of Klatoonian Warriors having a chat. Much of Nevarro appears to be very solid, not individual bricks. Nonetheless, I used some Lego masonry bricks mixed in to convey some of that deterioration and weathering. Now we're in the back of the diorama, and as I was taking pictures I decided to make an improvement to the design. So this was just a matter of making some small tweaks, and now we have stairs to enter the bar or cantina just like in the show. Now I know that the bar is not actually this close to the second gate of Nevarro City, but I wanted to make use of the space.
So now with that completed, you can get a better look at the rear of Nevarro City. And that actually takes us to the next thing that I wanted to point out, which is the Cantina. For the Cantina, there's a long rounded window that's used as the final stand, the last stand in episodes 7 and 8. Here, by using a rounded roll bar or fence, we can evoke the rounded edges of the window as we see it in the show. For me, a MOC is always about still keeping the play value intact. So given the entryways, I thought it'd be nice to design the interior of the Cantina. Now this is definitely a work in progress. There's a couple of chairs and a table to represent where Greef and Mando meet during the show. And if we move a little bit to the right, we can see the Mandalorian Covert, the hangout where the Mandalorians are in hiding. This area definitely needs work. I thought it was just fun to have a bunch of Mandalorians hanging out. And if we move to the other side, here you can see I've assembled a squad of Remnant Stormtroopers and other characters just laying in wait right there. The ground or terrain is a mashup of different tile shapes and colors. It's not too precise because then it looked like a building floor. This went through a couple of different iterations. The first version that I had was a little too dark, so I swapped out the dark bluish gray tiles with more light bluish gray. Here are some pics of Nevarro City as I was building it. Much of the walls were built and rebuilt several times over. Once I had a version of one wall that I was comfortable with, I then shifted to the next wall. And these walls were then placed onto a base plate and then a little more adjustment, and then the city gate was added. I didn't plan on adding the ground details at first, but the set looked a little too clean, a little too bare without it. So that's my Lego MOC of Nevarro City from Star Wars The Mandalorian. I'm happy with it so far. I'm looking forward to adding more details and more characters like Greef Karga and the Outland Jawas, along with some interior tweaks.
Hey, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun putting it together. So, hey, if you could do me a favor, did you put together a MOC of your own based on Star Wars The Mandalorian? If you did, can you post it down in the comments? I'd love to take a look at it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. This has been the Fanboy Cantina.